Well, the Department of Home Affairs concedes people smugglers may use the government's proposed detainee reforms as a way of attracting new business. Live to Political Reporter Cam Reddin in Canberra. So, Cam, this, I suppose, goes to what the Coalition was trying to warn on this. It's ahead of a major High Court hearing, not necessarily a judgment, but hearing on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's been accusations from the government, of course, that the opposition's language around this debate may have been enabling people smugglers. But a concession and something of an acknowledgement of a broader problem too from the Home Affairs Department today, that some of the language and also potentially the new laws that the government is proposing on detainees may be captured by people smugglers and used as part of their marketing. These are laws the government tried to rush through in the final sitting week before the break. It was unsuccessful there, which has taken us to a committee hearing today. They're laws the Home Affairs Department wants to use essentially as a last resort, which would give the Minister for Immigration a suite of new powers to do things like, for example, direct a non-citizen to leave Australia. It would criminalise the failure to comply with that, with even mandatory minimum jail terms. So essentially, if somebody is told to leave Australia and they don't, they would be sent to jail instead. Also, this idea of a designation power, which would allow the minister to designate a country that refuses to accept somebody we're trying to deport, and the minister would then have the power to block many visa applications that come from this country. Home Affairs making a point in this Senate committee today that even if the laws become tougher in practice, there is the possibility for people smugglers to look to use these laws and spin and lie about these laws to try and attract new business.
My concern, Minister, is that they would take any element of that particular bill and they would actually articulate it in a non-truthful manner. We know that people smugglers look at any changes, whether they are real or perceived, and they sell them. So we are constantly strategic messaging to make sure that vulnerable people understand what is right.
Home Affairs believes there's around 150 to 200 people that are currently not complying with this direction to be deported and to leave Australia. So that's the cohort it believes would be affected by these new laws. Today's hearing happening just 2 days before a major High Court hearing, which it will take place here in Canberra on Wednesday, involving the case of a man known as ASF 17. This is an Iranian man who is fighting his detention, also refusing to be deported, claiming that he would be persecuted if he is sent back to Iran. But the Home Affairs Department, in its written submission to this committee today, makes a broader point about the impact that High Court hearings and court hearings have on the detention system and on the migration system. It notes that if a court were to draw a new constitutional limit on the power to lawfully detain a non-citizen who is not cooperative towards their lawful removal, a key attribute of Australia's sovereignty could be severely circumscribed, in other words, limited. It says there could be a greatly diminished capacity for the Parliament and Executive to create and administer an orderly migration system. So, Tom, that's pretty strong language ahead of the hearing on Wednesday. We're also seeing at this committee Labor under pressure in a number of ways. Yes, of course, to not be caught out without legislation if it was to lose another case, but also internally, 3 Labor groups have publicly made submissions to this inquiry that are critical of the proposed detention law. So pressure on a number of fronts the government having to deal with.
Yeah, sets up for an interesting national conference. Cam, thank you.